obviously, you know, the conversation around those parts, and you weren't part of these moments, Kyle, very much, but if at all, you know, Lamar's struggles in his history of trying to win these playoff games, right? And he even said, you know, he needs to be less hyped. He needs to sort of stay within himself. How has that guy shown his that style all year long? What can you tell me there?
I would say the word that comes to mind is poise. I think that's something he's worked on, continues to work on all the time. I think you've seen a lot of growth this year is the poise to stay in every situation, no matter what, good or bad. Keep that poise, not get too high, not get too low, stay in the moment. He's done a really good job of that. And I think just collectively as a team, we've all stayed better. We've learned a lot about ourselves as a team this year, just staying poised in crazy situations. I mean, we've had, I think, the hardest schedule in the NFL, and we've been beat up through it, like good and bad, right? You have good scars and you have scars that aren't so good, but they've made us mentally tough, mentally poised, and ready for this challenge of the playoffs. And we're only guaranteed this one game, and the Steelers aren't some cakewalk. They're a really good football team, well coached with Mike Tomlin, and then Russ has done a really good job. And then defensively, you can't ever forget TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Cam Hayward. They've been holding it down there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm going through, and now that you just mentioned that, pardon me for not knowing this going in. Have you ever faced a team for a third time in your career? Obviously, well, you had a New England Buffalo game, right? In your playoffs, right?
That's a good one.
Because that ain't easy,
I think
right?
That's
not easy.
This might be the first time. You might be right. I think the year I was with the Patriots that I got traded to, 16, they played the Texans twice that year. So yeah, I would say this is the first time I've seen the team 3 times. That's a good stat. Shout out Rich right there.
Yeah, because I mean that's just not simple. And you just saw this team just a couple weeks ago. I mean, you saw them the game before, your Christmas game against Houston. So what is the challenge there for you? Because I mean, you kind of, I'm sure, is it the same? Like, hey, the way that you were going to attack Russ in this offense on that Saturday before Christmas, just run it back. So what you're thinking?
That's a good question. I think it's hard to even answer that, just because you are right. Like, there's not many things you can do differently, right? Everybody. It's just about execution in this game and who execute. Yeah, you might have some wrinkles in there, but at the end of the day, it's who is going to take care of the football, who's going to block and shed blocks better that day, tackle, all the things that you preach at a young age. When you start football, tackling, blocking, catching the football, the basic fundamentals are going to show up in this game, especially when the other teams, their best players, they know your best players, they know how you try to create for their best, you create defensive mismatches, they know how to create offensive mismatches. And they'll tinker some things just like we will, and I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, I know. It's not like Todd Monken's going to come to work and say, what we're going to do? We're going to run Derrick Henry this week, as opposed to last time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you are who you are, and they are who they are. And man, you guys just like swap and paint. Like, this is that type of affair, and the big boy pants have got to be on, and it's the Saturday night Prime Video. Whole country's going to be streaming this game, and
cold, snowy, AFC North football, man. Right. You're just painting the picture great. It's going to be Clash of the Titans. It's going to be 2 great head coaches going against each other, 2 great teams going against each other, rivalry teams. There's just going to be a lot of energy in the building. The bank's going to be on fire. I can't wait to see what that atmosphere is going to be like, and just an intense game for the right to get access to your building the next week.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now, again, in your history, it does appear you have attempted to tackle Derrick Henry twice in the postseason in your days with New England.
Yes.
And I imagine you kind of dig being his teammate on moments like this. What's it like being his teammate right now, Kyle?
Man, I had one successful time going against him, and then I didn't have a successful time.
What happened?
Him.
Did he stiff arm you? Did you get one of the
No,
famous stiff
but
arms?
Not me personally.
Okay.
Just it was a rough day at the office collectively. I think he rushed for like a 170 that game.
Yeah, it happens.
Man, it was brutal. But we're friends now. Me and Derrick, chuckle all the time about going against each other over the years. But I always tell him, man, it's good to be your teammate and not have to hit you during the cold weather games. And he's a force. When he gets the ball, he's trying to pull the Marshawn Lynch saying. I won't say it because the words I say aren't profanity words, but you get what I'm trying to say. That's how he runs the football with that tenacity, and it's tough during the cold weather games, and you got to see it for 60 minutes. And I think the Steelers are going to try to take on the challenge, and we're excited for that matchup, and Derrick's excited to play in that game. It's his first time playing in the playoffs in a while, so I know he's excited to play.
Yeah, I know. When you're trying to defend Derrick Henry, I guess to use the Marshawn phrase you can use, it's tough to take care of your mentals, and you're thinking and you're thinking of your chicken making decisions, right?
Yep.
When he's that's
and you got to run through a face over and over and over.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.